Pistol round will begin. And here we go. All right then, Endpoint starting on the T side. forZe choosing to start on the CT side of Endpoint's pick. Let's see how it works out for them. I'm curious to see the buy for Endpoint. Will we see P250s? I feel like it's strangely rarer on Dust 2, even though it has some of the longest ranges in the game. But I mean, if you've got other priorities of grenades and so on, then so be it. And it seems that Endpoint do, because we'll have Mighty Max and Robin with grenades, but no P250s in sight. If they're heading towards the B bomb site, the ranges are reasonable. But first, it'll be towards lower tunnel. That said, Surreal's already out of long, which is pretty impressive. There was no investment there in terms of men from forZe, and Surreal will fall back, maybe letting him know that he's taken that. We can see forZe fishing towards short. So with long, if they know long's been taken, that might explain why Jerry's just been smoked off in CT spawn as a push perhaps comes towards the B bomb site. There's no lurker outside B. Almaze is still in that B bomb site as we've got a big exchange in a mid position. Z-Power now trying to help his teammates out. We've got Mighty Max stuck in the corner, and he's getting some great headshots in, leaving Jerry in a 1 versus 2. Got a defuse kit, switched out for a new pistol. Definitely doable. Got plenty of time, just need to avoid getting shot in the face. Maybe easier said than done. A quick swing as you've got to find the initial engager. No one's peeking though, and you do wonder if he's found us just the way through this site. Double stack, though, is where they are. Oh, my God, this would be a really bad way to lose a pistol. 1v1 on the site, and it will be clutched by Surreal. I was getting a bit nervous there.
Got nervous. And we have to commend Mighty Max for the job he's done down middle. He was stuck between a rock and a hard place. He had players to his left, to his right. Look at this. Look at how pinched he is, and somehow he manages, with that beautiful burst, to grab a second kill that made all the difference in the clutch. Good job by Mighty Max. A very hectic, very chaotic pistol round. The B speed at that, but everyone was fighting towards mid. Endpoint start the second map the best of way. In terms of purchases, obviously forZe went in for the forced buy. We don't know them any different. We wouldn't want to see them act innocent and genuine. They want to fight, and they're never going to let go. Speaking of which, we see Z-Power being very proactive.
Going fishing top mid. Crucial's ready for it. Got big kills now. CT's making, creating a large mess in the middle position. They've still got face crack on the A bomb site, and they will, well, no, he's been made history now as forZe make their way towards short. Scout looking to go fishing once again. Comfortable so far for Endpoint. Dust 2 a staple of anyone from the UK. Jerry will move the AK-47 away to greener pastures for rounds to come. Z-Power keeping money in the bag for the AWP, and even on Dust 2 on the CT side, there will be force buys. But I guess if you want to start with the AWP, then you may argue that there isn't much to lose. This is why I eco on a pistol round.
Do you now? You eco on the pistol round?
I want AWP round 3, no matter what happens.
Oh my God. You're that type of player.
That's why there's people in my chat saying, like, he didn't buy anything. And the regulars are like, yeah, he wants the AWP. He never buys anything. Not on the CT
The regulars know what's up.
Sometimes not on the, sometimes not on the T side, depends on the map. But definitely CT side, I ain't buying nothing.
I guess on the T side, it kind of makes sense because the USP will be aiming for your head. So you could argue that the Kevlar is actually overkill. Because any decent USP player will try and headshot you. And never going to body shot you with the USP. So I guess there's a point to be made.
Alright then. We have the pistols out. Got a bit of baiting for Jerry. The flashbang, he'll fall back. Still alive, of course, because Jerry is almost invincible. And Almaze is getting started with the deagle. The bomb's fallen on the floor. That's a temporary issue. What's more of an issue is the damage on Thomas and Robin and the Desert Eagles that are out, and the fact that forZe have not lost a single player just yet. Robin showing some presence on long, but he's got a Mac 10. He can't really do anything with that. He does not have the range. Now, Endpoint, they've got a split in theory, and Robin is closing the distance with that Mac 10, but we got Deagles coming out from Almaze again. 5 on 1, and I don't know. We didn't see a lot of those frags, so
no, but
I guess sometimes you get one deed.
The death notice was enough to get me excited. I do believe Almazer was holding the line from CT spawn. It's a very tricky line. 3 kills for him and the Deagle in this round, and forZe just pulled the rug from underneath Endpoint. Oh my god. Nil investment. Absolute nada invested into the round, only carrying over what they had in the previous force buy, and they destroy Endpoint. They've absolutely outmaneuvered them, out-aimed, outclassed, outclassed. That's the mix between outskilled and outclassed. You're outclassed.
Well then.
Oh my god.
That is, that's a nasty surprise, I think it's fair to say. Endpoint are able to eke out 3 AK-47s. So this is still a dangerous round. Oh, that HE grenade is nasty. 50 HP, and forZe are so proactive. Look at the shadow advantage FaceCrack has. Absolutely free kill for him. Very difficult if the CTs have an aggressive angle, and can always count on forZe to be aggressive. Power repositions with that scout. Back he goes. Jerry still hiding if he can on the bomb site. And Thomas, you can see him doing 360s basically. Completely unsure as to where to look. And Endpoint get destroyed again. They plant that bomb, but not much else to show for it.
I think I have an unpopular opinion, James, when it comes to Counter-Strike, and I want yours. Okay. I am not a big fan of the shadows and the mechanism behind them. I don't really understand how they works. I think it's more of a position heavy thing where you know in what position you have an advantage or not. But could we not get rid of them or make them more coherent? Like, why do such positions, for example, long, are so hard to hard check because of the shadow?
I love it. I like it.
That's it. That's the end of our collaboration.
There are solutions to most things, right? Like, yeah, there's a problem with the shadow, but if you have a flashbang, you can solve that problem. And when you consider the economy and so on, there are ways and means. Sometimes it's awkward, but it's also a risk for the CTs to go there in the first place. Perhaps it's less of a risk depending on the situation, but I like that. It has a, information has a cost to get there in the first place, and it can have a cost if you want to have a safer approach. So I like it. I love it.
Fair enough. I can see your way.
I find it quite fascinating that if you look at the toilets on Overpass, for example, every approach to the toilets and to the site from the toilets has a shadow that has shadow advantage for the CT side. But I quite like the balance of Overpass as well. Mm-hmm. And it would change, it would change if you took that away. So it's not necessarily like a good thing or a bad thing if it's removed. It's a different thing. For me, with the shadows in the game, it would be more of like a Quakey thing to remove it, I think.
Yeah, fair enough.
Which makes it more arcadey, which is a different type of game, in my opinion. But there we go. I enjoy it. Now we have 3-2 for forZe with 3 AK-47s on their CT side. We'll see if they can keep that up. It's a great situation for them. Really evens the duels out a little more. Speaking of even, CTs might have the shadows. T's have got AK-47s. This and that. It's fun. C-Power creeping with the AWP and FaceCrack again. Very aggressive towards these long doors. Don't often see an exchange like that where the T's backing off. With no smokes up. Obviously, there was one, I think, before C-Power. He really has been a snappy sniper in this exchange, in this series so far, rather. See him completely repositioning now as Endpoint try to force the CTs away. Well, they've established control of the mid position, of the short position, rather. They'll be heard running back towards mid. Some grenades, and look at this. 3 players in a crossfire for forZe. They will try to isolate some players. Flashbang will be avoided. Almazer ready for the second one. Still gets a kill out of that. I'm very surprised. Look at this swing from Flit. The transfer being attempted. Both teams lighting up the kill feed. But it's forZe with the man advantage, and they will chase. They're like hounds. The hounds of justice, you might say, on the CT side. A really nice spray. The tagging slows Robin down so that he can't make it into the site. Not alive, at least. The body may fall to the floor, but that's all he has to show for it. Mighty Max in the clutch. Mighty Max in the clutch now. Spots one through the window, but the numbers game, the synchronization, the push is perfect from forZe. 3 plays survives. They'll keep the AKs up and make it to 4.
Really great round coming out of forZe. I did get a little anxious for them when Endpoint started their rework of the round towards the B split, because I felt like forZe took a bit of time to readjust their position. When you can see at this very moment, when Flit is going through the smoke, Almazer is the only player left side of the smokes deployed. And this to me was very, very worrisome. But the trades have been here. FaceCrack just in time to grab Robin. Also notice, worth noticing, it all started by Z-Power going in for the peak. He's been very active. He's been very snappy, as you said. Ooh, now he second guesses himself. And Mighty Max somehow bursted long wide open. FaceCrack is out.
Yeah, we got a smoke up, which threatens a pit presence for the T side. Jerry must be careful of that. And what is the response from forZe? They don't have any possession of short. You can see their concern as they look over there. Hiding by the car. And Jerry just openly peeks and gets one for free. The scouts, of course, to trade. They're aware that Flit could be here, and they are ready for him. So the tricks won't work this time for forZe. There is a slightest gap. Surely there's no way he lands that. He must need more information than that.
And that would
be still in
unreal reflex.
Yeah, it would be absurd, wouldn't it? Especially online. Almazer and Z-Power forced to back off as Endpoint get back onto their feet.
Yeah, great diligence coming out of Thomas. We could see the way he peeked Flit behind that car. There was no doubt in his mind. I don't know if he knew there was a player, but at least it was very clear that his job was to clear that angle. He hard checks it, destroys Flit, because that could have gone terribly wrong. I think that Jerry did the best he could to bait the attention out of Flit. He even white peeked from CT spawn, got a kill, tagged a little bit Thomas in the process, died then. That should have been, or that could have been enough to draw the attention away from the car position. But Thomas was very focused, very disciplined, takes out Flit, and with it, any hopes, really, from forZe to get back into this round. It all started with Mighty Max bursting long open, destroying FaceCrack through the smoke, I believe, with a Tech 9. So a little bit of success being found by Endpoint. And now it's a full buy coming in from both parts. forZe have a decent amount of money still in the bank. Poorest being FaceCrack with 2,400, but the rest is all above 5,000.
Waiting for the flashes. Z-Power will line up as a quick shot just in case. He doesn't register a play before they're there, but nothing doing. Meanwhile, Endpoint going straight through mid. They've got Thomas lurking in B halls, but there is a increased focus. Look at that peek from Flit. Not fighting to the death, just looking for information and falling back. We've got flashbang support as well. There's a nice fadeaway you can do from the between the doors of B. Aiming at the planks of wood, which are pretty high. I can just about see them above the where it says Endpoint on the other POV. Walking backwards, flash aimed at that will be a proper pop flash off the corner. Those of you at home. Anyway, FaceCrack has an off angle towards long, which may have a part to play later on, depending on what Endpoint choose to do. Still interested in the mid position, it seems, as they quietly have a look, and they will keep forZe focused on mid. Now, if their ultimate plan is to push elsewhere, this could be of interest. The entire team is now in mid for Endpoint. Robin heading towards short. A mid to B smoke is applied, suggesting a push, but how many will they commit to it? Just Mighty Max in the meantime. The push is going to be on the short area. Z-Power forced into the low ground, so A may be open for business. They don't have the angles or utility to do anything about this. They lost a player for it, Endpoint. Lost two, in fact, but they at least have the site. But for how long? The flank is already here before they've even started planting the bomb. Thomas on fire. He may die for the cause. We've got multi-Molotovs, and forZe, they just don't stop, do they? They don't give you any breathing room whatsoever.
This round was as close to perfection as I've seen in a long, long time on the CT side. There are so many elements, so many things that forZe did correctly in that previous round. Starting with Jerry not being over eager to peek towards middle. He had an AWP waiting for him the whole time. Then Flit wins the duel onto Mighty Max. Z-Power grabbing the kill and then not overcommitting, just getting the hell out with the AWP, with his kill, and then the rotation. Abandoning the A side, all together retaking Catwalk, understanding the pressure that's onto Endpoint, fully charging at them before the bomb gets planted. This was picture perfect from forZe.
That was really awesome to watch. And that's the kind of forZe you want to see. Unless you're Endpoint, of course. Endpoint charging into the long position once again. Z-Power sees one fall to the pit, which will make it harder for him to rotate. That body's in a really bad spot as well, so his job is very difficult at present. He gives the car an afro, and maybe with that he can escape. Now, if he peeked on top of the box, maybe he could get something out of this, but that smoke won't be there forever. Mighty Max still outside the B bomb site, which has been abandoned by forZe. Not sure if he got any sound cues in that process. And Endpoint will quietly walk out. They don't know the climate in mid. Mighty Max still waiting outside B. They've got a man advantage, and off they go, Endpoint. Jerry starting to wonder, though. Can see him on the radar up short. Still nobody in B for forZe, but Almeza starting to fall back. Got a pop flash to swing, and look at the reactions from forZe. Their minds, they got that spidey sense. They're tingling. Almeza quietly moving to the car. Now, Z-Power's got one flashbang, which he can throw, but I don't think he'll be able to throw it in time with Almeza's position, especially off the high ground. It's an easy kill for Almeza. Wow. That's a beautiful headshot as well. And that leaves Crucial alone on long as the B push comes in. They were expecting more success than that. Who knows if it was worth Mighty Max taking a risk there. Easy to say after the fact, but Jerry seems expectant that Crucial may be lurking. And again, maybe this is the experience, the amount of times they've played each other. They may just have an idea.
What a great move. What a great rotation coming out of forZe. I will still say, though, I did not quite catch the nickname of the first player that checked Almeza, but this right here was the definition of an alibi peek. Alibi peek, that's what just happened right here. You see that? Surreal, what he just did? This is an alibi. He did not really hard check the car. He just turned to the right because he's supposed to turn to the right, and he checked. He was already ready to aim towards door. That's an alibi peek. That's how we used to call it in French, and they paid the price for it.
Well then, we see some problems now for Endpoint. At least they'll jump over the AWP shot. Not everybody has a rifle for this T side, for the Mandem, you might say. Robin and Surreal with Desert Eagles only, but plenty of utility, which means they can take position, and position they have taken towards long. But Z-Power, what on earth is that? He is playing so well at the moment. Flip's been lost in mid, though, so in terms of position, there could be a lot of problems now. Need to see some more highlights from Almeza if he is to hold a speed bomb site. The bomb making its way through the tunnel, but is the timing right? Some of the players are kind of stuck in CT spawn. Robin certainly is, so Surreal's on his own, and Almeza's crosshair requires very little correction.
Almeza is being fantastic as well. It feels like everyone from forZe is currently activated. Almeza's job on the B bomb side is pristine. Z-Power is fighting shot through smokes. Granted, there's a little bit of success and a little bit of luck. But look at Almeza. Look at the accuracy of his crosser placement. Look at the game sense. His ability to predict who's going to be the next target in his crosshair. That was picture perfect from Almeza. He was in a virtual 1 versus 4, I believe, when Mighty Max wins the duel towards the mid player. And he does so brilliantly. 10-2. Almeza is completely locking down the B bomb side. And if you're Endpoint right now, you must feel somewhere close to despair. Because any position you go, any bomb side you try, someone does something terrible to destroy you.
Jerry clearing out the hiding places in mid. That will help defend the mid position for now. See Flip doing the same. Just clearing as many nooks and crannies as they can. And Jerry's going to get more aggressive. Nice coordination with the pop flash. They have lots of play though, and there is a swing from long. 2 scouts in this buy round for Endpoint, and they're all lining up to fall by the car position. Run over, you might say. Crucial and Mighty Max remain up close. Mighty Max with a Tech 9 will be traded. And this has become a very expensive round for forZe. Crucial has an AK-47. Position unknown, I presume. He has taken damage, though, so they may have some inkling. 3 places he can come from. 2 CTs walking through the smoke, and face cracks ready for it. And forZe are having a very strong CT side on Dust 2.
It's amazing. Quite honestly, it's amazing. And right now, it's not even about damage anymore if you're Endpoint. It's about winning rounds. Because you look at the financial situation on the side of forZe and you realize every light's a green right now. Almeza and Jerry both above the 10k mark. We see Almeza, the player I was talking about before, having an amazing game right now. He's been the tip of the spear for forZe, specifically on his B defense. Absolutely airtight. Now, forZe is starting with the Astralis setup, 4 men towards the A bomb side, but Endpoint, judging by the radar, have had different ideas. They've already taken catwalk control, so quick territory being taken by Endpoint, it could net them the time to organize around at the very end. But judging by Robin's position, I do believe an A split might be on the cards, and forZe don't really seem particularly ready for that. Though, as I say, Almazer changes his mind.
Admin smokes. Probably short position. Everybody knows there's a gap on that side that T's like to abuse. But the CTs can see clearly enough as well. Counter incendiary from forZe. Almazer doesn't realize that somebody's ahead of it already. And there's no push long just yet. Oh my god, Jerry, what are you doing? Where are all these kills coming from?
Did he really spam 3 people through the smoke? Was that really what happened?
There were some gaps, so maybe he saw some of them. And perhaps Endpoint was stuck there because of that return incendiary, allowing forZe to rotate.
This is ridiculous.
God. This CT side, these responses have just been ridiculous. And Robin needs a ridiculous response himself. 1v4. Everybody knows where he is. There's Molotovs, flashbangs, smokes, all kinds of junk that can be thrown his way, but most importantly, cold steel. And there's Jerry with another one.
Jerry right now is in the Matrix. Basically is in the game. He knows exactly what's happening. Like, I am so impressed by the kills that my brain takes a second and a half to realize, hold on, what is he doing behind them already? Because he's got the read. He's one step ahead. He's seen the movie. He's read the book. He's heard it. He's done everything. Jerry knows what's happening right now. He's 15-6. And he completely destroyed, alone, single-handedly, destroyed that A attack coming out of Endpoint. This is getting scary.
Yeah, this is the kind of forZe I love to watch. Thoroughly enjoyable, very engaging, very entertaining. Proactive on their CT side. Jerry, such a pain, such a problem, but still the nicest guy. But the way he plays on the server, you'd think he's a monster.
He is good, though, kind of. A good monster. He's the worst and the best.
Containment grenades, isolation grenades if one wants to go ahead of them. Endpoint in mid, fishing with the Desert Eagle on long. Pistol rounds for Endpoint. Plenty of flashes coming from Endpoint now. How will Z-Power play this one? Jerry really has to hold on to long here, otherwise Z-Power's going to cover from the back, but he can hop out, going sideways around the box, but Crucial's ready for the Deagle. Now, Flip, what on earth are you trying to do with this AWP? Be careful. Jerry's held on to long. There's one player stuck in mid, but a bomb is on the site, importantly for Endpoint, so they'll have a post plant. Crucial has the AWP, let's not forget, but they don't have long. Thomas has got to hold on to short so Crucial can focus on something. Can look to swing once there is a catch-up here. Crucial on site in the meantime. Has some Kevlar as well. And there's I think a triple dink from Almazer. There's Crucial. He's in trouble. Well, they did some damage. They killed 2 players. They planted the bomb again, as you said, Maniac. They need to win some rounds. They won't be able to stop forZe from making it to 10.
No, and it's not like forZe are anywhere near being enforced by at any point. So, yes, we want to be positive. We want to look at silver linings and see life in pink if possible. But getting kills versus forZe now is not enough. Endpoint will have to face gun rounds until the very end of this first half. 3 rounds is not going to be enough on the T side. I can say that rather confidently, although surprises have been known to happen in this tournament so far. But the problem is that individually, it looks like forZe are just winning every duels. They're besting them at every corner now. We see Endpoint trying to change the pace with that quick long take. It's been accepted by forZe, or rather, who only leave face crack. Z-Power is completely blind.
Face crack needs some support flashbangs. There's the first one. Oh, that's perfectly timed. The Molotov doesn't bother him, so he can actually use that smoke to create some space and take the second molly out. Not too shabby if you're forZe. Really hard game of Dust 2 so far for Endpoint. Uses a car to change his elevation. He's lighting them up, but his lights have been unplugged from the wall, that's for sure. Surreal still lurking in lower tunnels. forZe focused on the A bomb site as Endpoint slow things down. Now, forZe have to wonder if there is a lurker looking to flank them somewhere. You can see Jerry's concerned. 2 AWPs on the remaining 3 players. Almeza are unsure as to what might be going on towards B and mid. So forZe are very vulnerable, but they can't move very much at the same time. What's Mighty Max up to there with his knife out? 3 versus 3. Crucial's tagged. Cyril's got some sound cues. He hears the rotation towards B. Maybe Endpoint are just waiting. They have 1 smoke if they are to cross long. It is doable. And my video is going crazy. There we go. I'm back.
forZe are taking the bait right now. forZe thought that it was a B split coming out of Endpoint. I think Suri's got the information on to Jerry, so Jerry will not be able to surprise anyone, and he himself is being flanked. Very unsuspecting, and Mighty Max anyway will take care of him, leaving Almeza in a 1 versus 3. With the money they have, I'd say why not? What's the worst that can happen? You give an AWP to the opponent? I guess that's probably the one aspect that he does not want to I guess accept, is he refuses to give an AWP to the opponents. But I mean, money-wise, they can buy 6 AWPs if they want, throw them on the ground.
Well, it's been a while, it feels like, since Endpoint found some success. And indeed it has been. Outside of the pistol rounds, and if we ignore the anti-force buy, this is only the second round which Endpoint have been able to win. So it's been a really difficult T-side. But here they are. They're giving themselves enough space to work with in the second half. Let's see what they have in mind. Last round of the first half. Crucial, straight down suicide, looking for players over the smoke. You can often find players jumping over that smoke as well, which is kind of counterintuitive. But I guess they imagine they feel they just go over faster. Almeza on the B bomb site. Big presence from forZe in mid. Seem to detect some kind of focus on that from Endpoint. And there are 3 players in the middle position at the moment. Oh my god. Immediately flip punishes. As soon as Mighty Max is up, he's down. IZ power.
Oh god.
These sniper rifles are devastating. I wonder if we'll even see a push from FaceCrack. Just to add insult to injury. 3 players remain. Not enough to cover. Oh, look at the damage. They just know Endpoint love these peaks in mid, it seems. Getting blasted. It's like Call of Duty kill streaks. And there's that push from FaceCrack as well from Jerry at the same time, and Almeza. It's outrageous.
They cannot do anything. We move from one POV to the other to find a defenseless Endpoint player being rushed or killed through a smoke or pushed or whatsoever. Poor Robin now, the 1 versus 3. He does have a smoke and a flash and a Molotov even jumping on top of the box. Will get hit through the door by Flit and another one through the smoke. This is disgusting.
Yeah, that was a great round to watch if you are anybody except for Endpoint.
Exactly.
The plays
depends on perspective, huh?
Yeah, the plays from forZe there. They're just so satisfying to watch. The coordination. They all solo push at the same time, which is a great numbers game because it'd be very surprising if they all failed. Because you're trying to communicate one thing and one push, but everyone's pushing everywhere at the same time. Like, how do you cope with that?
Well, one way to, it might sound really stupid what I'm going to say, but one way to handle these types of philosophy is to just shoot your opponent. Suddenly it becomes way less dangerous when you win the duel, but it's just how it is. You know, forZe sometimes they put you in a ring, in like a box ring all across the map, and there is going to be 1v1s happening all across the map. And if you win just enough of them, then you have the space to navigate around the map and decide what's up. But if you lose them, it's over. They just suffocate you. You have nowhere to go. Oh god.
Okay then. Well, that's a good start for Endpoint. Oh dear. The names at the top are about to switch. There we go.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. No, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I've been fooled 50 times.
Oh, here we go. There's a focus on B for Endpoint. They are expectant, and Thomas is watching the cross. A little tag. Now, That's not the bomb just yet. That is the bomb, and that is a kill. Opening frag for forZe and the pistol. They don't have any grenades. They do have a P250 at least onto Flit. That's something. Mighty Max with 2 flashes and a defuse, I might add. Only Surreal by the car
risk,
of long.
exactly. That's a risk being taken by forZe. They have only one player onto the A side.
But now what do Endpoint, what do forZe do? Looks like Flit's going to head towards long. He has the range for it with the P250, which will cause Surreal some serious problems. But Mighty Max is starting to wonder. You can see he's crossed middle doors towards CT spawn now. Run boost, no less, in a pistol round. You don't see that every day. And Surreal falls back. There will be Flit here to welcome him. Open arms, closed doors, though. 3 versus 3. Endpoint consider how they want to play this. Mighty Max got to be real careful with that defuse kit. With no Kevlar, he is a sponge for bullets. And it seems he will deploy the flashbangs up short with the entire team here to swing. We'll go behind Robin's head as the first one, and here comes the second, easily avoided by Almazer, but he can't avoid the USP. Z-Power now by the Goose position. You've got a 2-man swing. It's getting better for Endpoint. Flit with that long range of the P250. It's got better one-tap range, but it's not as accurate as the USP, so it'll still be problematic. The plant was for him, but the accuracy wasn't.
A great retake coming out of Endpoint. Great usage of flash as well, and a great spacing, making sure they were all ready to play 2v1s or even 3v1s at times. Obviously, the shots going in their way made their life a little bit easier, and Flit with the P250 not able to adjust. I know the P250 is a miracle worker, but you'd still have a 1v3 to win with such a long distance. It would have required some pristine shots, and it wasn't meant to be. Endpoint start the long process of fighting back in this second map. It's not impossible at all, but the pressure from forZe is nowhere near stopping. They are going in for the full force buy. 4 Galils, 3 smokes to play with, and a scout on Z-Power. Judging by their position right now, they still approach it as a classical standard type of round. We will see what kind of shenanigans they pull onto Endpoint.
See, the bomb doesn't hit the floor. That could even be heard from long. Oh, that is a burst from Crucial. That is a very brief burst. Quad Galil push. Just note that Flit's through doors. He's waiting for that rotation, and he's about to meet Surreal. That's happening off camera at present, and Surreal won't come out on top of that. Now, it looks like they're going to fall back and try and head towards the B bomb site, perhaps, although they've left Jerry in a Gandalf position with 3 HP, so a lot of weird things could happen now. We still have Mighty Max in the B bomb site. He will hear all this running, and he'll have to raise the alarm. So Jerry could flank, but if he tries to drop off the ledge, he might die. That would be hilarious, for me anyway. Mighty Max elevating on a card and repositioning, going to the low ground. He did it as best he could, and that's the flank activated, but look at the patience. Crucial waiting for it. 2 versus 2. The bomb site has been taken. We've got Thomas coming in from CT spawn. A combined 15 HP for forZe with no grenades. How on earth are they going to make this happen? Got Flitz on the bomb site itself. Elevated by the window. He would love a sound cue. Giving some away himself. Trying to cover his body as best he can, and he's done well. Low on HP, and they'll still make it work. That's beautiful from forZe.
I don't understand how they can win that clutch so cleanly with combined 15 HP, just as you said. Flit with the very sneaky angle. I want to say known angle, but yet still quite hard to deal with. You know, you never really know how, rather where to put your crosshair when you're wide peeking that bomb site. And the force buy will work indeed for forZe. That's a success. They are now putting Endpoint against the ropes, who at their turn will decide to completely force buy into this round. I agree with you, by the way. The long flank, or rather lurk, coming out of Jay was expected by Crucial. Great awareness on his end, not allowing Jerry to have the kind of impact he wanted. But it is still a very dire situation. If you're an Endpoint fight right now, things are looking bleak. This round is almost a must-have in terms of utility. Only Mighty Max boasts 1 smoke. The rest is absolutely naked, but that's a good start. Robin taking Fleet's head clean off. He's been one of the greatest threat for Endpoint, so good start.
Sort of information for FaceCrack. 2 players falling away now. And they have position on short with the 3 remaining players. Maybe expecting to catch somebody out of position. Jerry will have a look and see what is going on towards the B bomb site. In fact, it might be a split. Jerry with the molly on the left. We got the smokes in mid, and this is going to be an issue. Jerry with a continuation spray. Almaza though with the kill. Mighty Max is surely going to get traded. Indeed, he will. That leaves Robin in a 1 versus 2. With a deagle, it's doable. He might find something better outside as well. Galil takes the 1 shot away. Do wonder with he has Kevlar, okay, of course, so he could take a fight with this. Just needs to be fast. Well positioned, forZe. He'll let them know about it. And Robin. Not much else he can do at this point. 13 for forZe. It's been a great game of Dust 2 for them. I feel like they've given us way more to talk about.
Absolutely. It's been a beautiful game. And there has been so many occasions in which I was looking at my computer thinking, wow, this is looking really bleak for forZe. And somehow, they always have that little detail. Either it's a headshot, or it's a flash, or it's a great ID/game sense at the right timing, just saving them. Endpoint were in an absolute decent position to win this round. They had 2 men on the B bomb side when the split happens, but somehow, still, forZe, they jump through the loops of fire and they make it work.
Okay, it's a really rough situation for Endpoint. Just a bunch of pistols on deck. No point really spending any money in this round. forZe will make it a slow and painful death. Jerry and Flit waiting for a peek around B. Having a look inside. That may encourage them to commit. Jerry's still pretty healthy with the HP. A little less now. Continuation spray, but things become awkward. Flit really needs to survive this. Going for the reload, jumping towards double stack. And look how spread out they are. We've got 1 player long. The bomb's still in T spawn as Flit entertains on the B bomb site. Looking for trade fraggers.
It's a fake.
Yeah. It's great, isn't
they
it?
gotcha.
It's fantastic.
they play fakes in an anti-eco round, sending an AK onto the B bomb side. No, I don't think it was a fake from the get-go. They just realized that they were so far away from Flit that they had better just let him do whatever he wanted on the B bomb side. Hope that he would trigger and kind of pull the rotation towards his position, and then that would open the highway to hell, or highway to paradise, actually, the staircase to heaven, I should say, towards A side for forZe.
forZe are in such a strong position now. I feel like the half hasn't even started for Endpoint, and they're 2 rounds away from losing the whole match. Crucial with the AWP. Got forZe by those middle doors now. There are 1 or 2 places where Robin can elevate his position. Should a smoke come in for a mid to B. Endpoint will buy some time. However, they cannot buy some personnel. Mighty Max has been lost. There's no money, really, for Endpoint if they lose this round. They're in a dire situation. No aggressive play. Playing pretty reactively at this point, and all separated. And Surreal through the smoke, of course. And there goes Robin. Just 1 by 1. Jerry showed an elbow on short. And has not been seen since. Just that was the slightest peak. There we go. FaceCrack there to trade. Bomb has been spotted, but no one's really alive to do anything about it. Thomas is just trying to survive now.
Yeah. Yeah. What a sad perspective when you're down 14-5 and your only goal is to maintain your weaponry. Is to stay alive. You had no impact whatsoever in the round. You couldn't really, to be honest. And I want to say the first map was really back and forth. And honestly, I've been rather quite impressed by Endpoint and the display they were showing us. But this map, I feel like from the get-go, there was a switch that clicked individually for forZe, and they made so many right choices individually. Just look at the scoreline. Almeza is 21 for 5, Flit is 20 to 9, 18 to 8 on Jerry, and he's had some massive rounds, and he's only at 18, air quote. And he's destroyed them. So individually, I feel like everyone from forZe was just one step ahead.
Well, an unceremonious game of Dust 2 for Endpoint.
It's not over yet, though.
Yeah, but it's not far away, and we're getting closer.
It might be now.
Long has been lost. Only Surreal has flashbangs. So again, limited in what they can do. Robin and Thomas moving together at close range with a scout. Well, there's a chance. There's something. They can collect that. No one else is there to deal with it. Flit, the last one, crossing out the... well, coming up the long doors. And might be a late resurgence here from Endpoint. They have weakened the forces. That gun goes flying. Don't know how it ended up there. Surreal's off as well. And indeed, now it's down to Crucial with the scout. Scoping in as well. Robin's fallen to the flames. 1 versus 2 now for Crucial as he takes out Flit on the site. Now Z-Power has the angle from long, so Amazing just needs to avoid the jump shot. But the smoke to create some space gives Crucial a chance. Popping up, trying to do what he can, but he will land on his head. And that is a massive 2-0 for forZe, 16-5.